to a city fair rode I. There armed lines of marching men in squadrons passed me by. No pipe did hum, no battle drum did sound its loud tattoo, but the Angelus bells o'er the leafy swells rang out in the foggy June. Right proudly high in Dublin town hung they out the flag of war. 'Twas better to die 'neath an Irish sky than at Sublour Bar. And from the plains of Royal Meath, strong men came hurrying through, while Britannia's Huns with their long-range guns sailed in through the foggy June. The bravest fell, and the requiem bell rang mournfully and clear for those who died that Easter tide in the springing of the year, while the world did gaze with deep amaze at those fearless men, but few who bore the fight that freedom's light might shine through the foggy June. Back through the glen I rode again, and my heart with grief was sore, for I parted then with valiant men whom I never shall see more. But to and fro in my dreams I go, and I kneel and pray for you. For slavery fled, oh, glorious dead, when you fell in the foggy dew.
I wake up and I think he's telling. I can hear the sound of his Scottish style and he's gasping. I go into his room, stand there. Burn his small his finger. He's not drowning. Of course, he's not drowning. He's running. I watch his chest rise and fall. The lightest the forces from an adult's arm to crush the bones in his ribcage. I feel so much love for him. The heart itself. I can feel it filling up. Study. I go back into my bedroom. I crawl under the covers. Jonathan, my husband, is laying on his side. When I get back into the bed, he puts his arm across me. It's incredibly heavy, like it's made out of leather. I wait for Lenny, for my son, to wake up. He does. I turn the radio on downstairs. I put the kettle on. I put Lenny in his chair. He's grumpy this morning. I put a cup of 3 cups of Jamaican Blue Mountain coffee. And slowly, methodically, I sit and drink all 3 cups myself. I don't remember what was on the radio that day. Apart from everybody's talking about there's a concert. A man's talking about a concert and exactly what he wants to achieve, which I must admit I find it a bit unclear. But the singer's passion, Laney's grumpiness, and the tiny little whining noises that he makes, and the taste of coffee, the feeling of which means that I find to my surprise that there are tears rolling down my face and falling into the newspaper, which boy, some boy, a boy, at least I think it's a boy, delivered, must have delivered at some point this morning. I go for shopping and in my head I'm already getting prepared for work next week. I push Lenny in his pushchair. He's got one of these 3-wheeled fabulous pushchairs. It has a fabulous suspension. It makes it ideal for city street life. I buy myself a pair of pink sandals with a golden strap and a little pink flower on. In the shops, I think everybody's got the concert on. He falls asleep and I push him up and down. I could head through Bloomsbury. Today is the day for heading through Bloomsbury with a new pair of summer sandals. Ideal for the beach. I don't. I start off and I take a bus from work. And I get back home and Jonathan's not there. He should be there. He should be at home. I don't have the slightest idea where he is. I try not to think about it. The house is quieter without him. Where are you? Where are you? Which jobs? What are you going to do there? What are you doing there? What were you painting? What were you buying? What are you going to paint? I want to know what you need the paint for. I want to know where you want to paint. I want to know where you've been. Do you like my sandals? I bought some sandals. Do you like them? I bought them for the beach. For the summer? Sundays, Jonathan stay with Lenny. Takes me to buy newspapers. I sleep in. Lenny starts crying when Jonathan's putting his shoes on. He's putting his shoes on wrong. His socks are all bunched up over the feet, and when he's putting his little shoes on, he's not pulled his socks up properly, so the socks are all bunched up, and he starts to cry. I tell myself I'm not getting up out of the bed to help them. I'm not getting out of the bed to help them. I'm not getting out of the bed to help them. They leave. No idea what I'm going to do today. I sit still for up to half an hour at a time. I don't know where he takes them. They're windswept when they come back. Windswept and scurvy. And Lenny's crabby, but he's happy. When Johnson's hair is like that, when his hair is all over the place, there's a sense that he's been outside because his cheeks are all pink. I look at him and there's something about him enough to make me smile. So we have our tea in front of the television when Lenny's in bed. I want Jonathan to touch me. If he were to reach out and put his hand at the back of my neck or stroke the back of my head, just, touch me. If he were to do that right now, right this second. I drop Lenny off at Julia's and he squeaks with happiness. The tube is full of people. Nearly all of them have tripods these days. Can't remember when that happened. I head into work. The tripod report is nearly ready. It's nearly finished. When it's ready, if we get it right, if David gets it right, then the implications for the company were, they're immense. We actually did have to sign a contract that even forbade us to talk about it to our spouses. It's a legally binding contract. David doesn't look at me, he doesn't smile at me, he doesn't wish me good morning or ask about my weekend or about Lenny. He asks me if I'm feeling ready. It's a big week. I go into Russell Square. All I ever seem to eat these days are dog poison wraps. I ring Julia. Lenny's fine. Everything's fine. Jonathan doesn't ring. At the afternoon, I watch a man remove a stopper and he does press-ups. On my way back home, I watch him. I watch the muscles down his spine. I watch the rivulets of sweat back of his neck. At home, I'm extremely tempted to explain to Jonathan the nature of Triford Report, explain it to him meticulously, encourage him to sell the details to Cartier Jones. When Lenny sleeps, he puts his bum up in the air, sleeps on his knees, wraps a blanket around himself. He's incredibly sweaty. So Monday morning, I go back into the bedroom. I watch him sleep next to his cot. Jonathan doesn't notice I've gone. Fall asleep there. At about 5 a.m. I wake up and I go back into my bedroom. But I can't sleep. What did he need the paint for? Where did he go to buy his paint? Who is he on his call to his lunch break? I can't decipher all the different news stories on the radio. Next step. Jonathan comes downstairs in the morning. His skin is so clean, his hair, he's wearing a suit. I think he's had a shave. He grabs a banana and walks out of the door. The freezer needs defrosting. There's a crust of ice that sits on everything. You sort of break it down to open the drawer. It makes the same sound when you drop them in the whiskey. My hand is freezing. It's Tuesday morning. It's fucking amazing. There are 7,200 messages in my inbox. Nearly all of them relate to the Tryford report. David hasn't slept, he says. He was working on a report, on 2 polishes, actually. He completed 1 polish at about 8:30 and then went out for a Chinese meal. And instead of going home, he came back and worked on another polish. Makes 2 polishes in one night. Kartika Jones are working in a similar area, like sort of a competitor. David thinks they're months behind her work though. Their R&D is flawed. David tells me to print off the copy of the conclusion. I print it off on the wrong type of paper. I print it off on the photographic paper. There's photographic paper in the machine and I don't check and he roars at me. Don't I realize what I've done? Don't I realize how much more it is difficult to shred photographic paper? Don't I think? Don't I ever fucking think? In the afternoon, it looks like David has been for a shower somewhere. Maybe he went for a swim after his lunch and got a shower. He doesn't talk to me. I tell him I'm sorry. He says, well, there are some people for whom this report means something and some it clearly doesn't. He asks me what time I'm working until tonight. I tell him 9, maybe 10. He doesn't think he'll make it that long. He needs to crash. He says his work is done. He's at 6:30. Jonathan picks up Lenny from Julia's because I had to stay back because of the report. I'm on my own. The office, I'm on my own. I check the report, I recheck the statistics, I run the figures another time. I become indescribably bored. David has a photograph of himself on his desk. That's surprising to me. I take the report from David's desk. I'm on my own in the office. I'm on my own. There's nobody else in the office. Maybe there's nobody else in the whole building. Maybe tonight there's nobody else in the whole city. I turn the photocopier on. I turn each page individually on the photocopier. Find the number for Cartiger Jones. Fax or start. Set. I don't go in on Thursday. They don't want me to go in on Thursday. It's the news. Of course, there's no news. It's the bomb. 4 days. I was the only person in the office on Tuesday night. I don't take Lenny to see Julia today. I bring him into bed with me. I tickle his tummy. I blow raspberries in his tummy. Why does he need the paint for? I don't ask him where he goes on his lunch breaks to, or who is he on his call to his lunch breaks. When he laughs, he kicks his legs in the air. I look at him, and he looks right back at me. He knows I was the only person in the office on Tuesday night, and he finds it immensely funny.
Down in the widow garden, where we and my true love did meet. It was there we true love, she did